Hey there, thanks for tuning in to listen to my video about people pleasing and overeating. So if you are someone who identifies yourself as a people pleaser and you also struggle with losing weight, or you're able to lose the weight but you can't keep the weight off, then you're going to want to continue to watch this video, and I'm going to help you make the connection and lastly tell you what you can do about it. So all my clients come to me and want to lose weight. And I take a different approach. So instead of looking externally about what you are eating, I work with my clients on looking internally first and seeing, why are you overweight? Why haven't you been successful in the past? And when you do that, you uncover lots of things, and it typically goes back to childhood, that the person has usually learned to use the food as a coping mechanism, or they have used the weight, their actual weight, to build a physical boundary that in some way protects them. And most of the time, they don't see this until they do some work. So for today's video, we're going to talk about people pleasing specifically. I thought of some examples I want to share with you of what I see. Now, as I work with clients, we talk about the actual thoughts that are going on in their head just prior to eating. And that is how you uncover what we call self-sabotaging thoughts. It's really, really helpful when you're in the moment and you're in a battle. And you know what I mean by the battle. Eat it. And then over here's like, girl, you don't need a fifth piece of pizza. And over here's like, but there's only one piece left. It's not that big of a deal. And you're like, girl, you're stuffed. You don't need a fifth piece of pizza. So now I'm in the battle. So whatever I tell myself in the moment that makes it okay to go ahead and eat that fifth piece of pizza is what we call a sabotaging thought. So I want to share with you some of the things that my clients told me and see if you recognize yourself or your behaviors in any of these things. I didn't want to make him angry, or I didn't want it to escalate into a fight. So I appeared to be thankful for the box of chocolate candy he gave me, and I ate them without saying a word. I didn't want to appear rude, so I ate the entire plate of appetizers and drank the cocktail that she fixed for me. I wanted her to like me and think I was a nice person, so I agreed that I would split dessert with her. I wanted to fit in, so when they asked me if I was okay with ordering pizza, I said sure. I didn't know how to say no without hurting her feelings, so I agreed that I would make my famous dessert, knowing it would be a huge temptation for me, and I had planned and really wanted to make something else to take to the party. I didn't want to seem selfish or hard to please, so when they asked what I wanted for dinner, I said, whatever you guys want's fine with me. I didn't want my sister to feel bad because I've lost weight and she hasn't. So I ate terribly during our entire family vacation. So these are just some examples of people pleasing, which I think also gets into lack of ability to set proper boundaries, conflict avoiding, putting others before yourself, and caring too much about if others like me and what others think, including strangers, not just people who care about me. So if this is you and you find yourself sabotaging your own healthy lifestyle with some of these thoughts and behaviors, what can you do? The first thing is awareness. You've got to be aware when these thoughts come up and catch yourself before you go ahead and eat the fifth piece of pizza, eat the box of chocolates. You've got to take a pause. And that takes some practice because you've probably been doing this for years and years and years and not really paying attention. So bring some awareness to what you are doing first. The next thing I want you to do is take a look at, where did these behaviors, the people pleasing, originate? It typically will go back to childhood, and it's usually a behavior that you found out as a child you needed to behave that way in order to get your needs met. So here's what I mean by that. as a kid, right, as we're growing up, 4, 5, 6 years old, we have certain needs. And to get those needs met, we will instinctively figure out what we have to do to get them. A baby who is hungry, who can't say, hey, where y'all at? I'm hungry. What do? They instinctively figure out, if I cry and make this big noise, they will feed me. So that's a good example of how we instinctively figure out how to get our needs met. We do need connection. We do need attention from our parents or our primary caregivers. If I'm not getting that attention, I may find that when I bring home straight A's is the only time I get the attention. When I get the lead in the school play and I perform, I got all kinds of attention. But when I come home with C's, or when I don't participate in sports, or I decide not to try out for the team, I don't get any kind of attention. And so these things probably developed, meaning the people-pleasing tendencies, probably developed back to childhood. So that is step 2, I would say, is spend some time thinking about, when did these habits develop? Now that you have an awareness about them and you have some understanding about them, you've got to work on changing them. My advice would be, don't expect to change overnight. This is going to take time. It's going to be a process. My favorite saying is progress, not perfection. That is what I expect from my clients. You don't need to be perfect by the time we meet in 7 days from now, but I do want you to be better than you were this week. So progress, not perfection. Place that expectation. And you've got to find a voice, right? You've got to find a way. Practice what you are going to say. I'm going to go to this restaurant tonight with my friend, and I'm going to order this. And if she tries to get me to order something else, or if she says, hey, will you split dessert with me? What are the actual words that can come out of your mouth? This way you're prepared for that conversation. And you can think about, what do I need to say in my own words that seem natural to me? And even though it may be a bit uncomfortable, I still think that I can get them out of my mouth and be okay with that. And it may be uncomfortable in the fact that you have to reevaluate some relationships. If someone is going to get upset and angry because you won't share dessert with them, is that really someone we want to be close friends with? A lot of times I think we kind of do what's called forecasting. We forecast what we think they will think. Here's one example is sometimes I have clients who they are really, really nervous about someone that they care about being jealous of their weight loss or feeling bad about themselves. If you're my sister and we've always been overweight and I lose 50 pounds, how's that going to make you feel? And they're very nervous about that. And I say, you're forecasting and thinking that this is going to make her feel bad about herself. What if it's inspiring to her? What if she will come to you with questions and for help and support to do the exact same thing? You don't know. So catch yourself if you're doing any of that assuming, forecasting, and stop. Think, I don't know what that other person is thinking. In fact, I saw a recent study that said 80% of the time when we anticipate what someone else is thinking, we are incorrect. We are wrong. So stop yourself and check yourself. I don't know how that person will receive this. All right, so that is just a little bit of help. If you're a people pleaser, you've got some work to do. Probably not just around food. I'm sure it goes into other areas of your life. If you've liked this video, please click that like button. And if you're interested in food and how it relates to things like people pleasing, to emotional eating, then please subscribe to my channel, because that is what I'm all about. I'm just here to help and spread some love. All right, so take care, and thanks for watching my video.